Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this presentation of this morning. I'm very thankful to all of you. I know that we have 81 registered participants, so a very big amount. And I'm seeing a lot of people connecting now from different regions of Italy. So thank you very much for the interest for Somalia. We wait 1 or 2 minutes to allow all people to connect, and then we can start. Okay, I think we can start. So let me first thank all the speakers who are participating in this interesting event. Again, we speak about Somalia. So it's, as you know, an interesting country, very well attached by the Italian cooperation, by the international community. We organized a lot of activities during last months in favor of Somalia in terms of agricultural machineries, fishery, dairy, and also other sectors. But now we are going to make a step more, because we collected all the opportunities during last months, and also we added other business opportunities to draft a specific catalog in terms of companies and association existing in Somalia to present to the Italian business community. So I'm very glad about that, because it was a great work. It was a very great work in collaboration with the local team in Mogadishu, Baidoa, Beletwayne, and Kismayo. And now this is the final product we are going to present this morning. First of all, I would like to thank the Italian Agency for Development and Cooperation, who allowed the delivering of this product, but also the entire project of Agro-technology. So it's a great pleasure now to give the floor for the opening remarks to Mr. Stefano Stirpe, who is the program coordinator of Mogadishu office of the Italian Agency of Development and Cooperation. Stefano, you have the floor.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Francesco. Excellencies, colleagues, partners. It's a great honor for me to open this very important meeting, because economic development is really at the heart of Italy cooperation strategy with Somalia. And we know that it's a fundamental pillar for the stabilization and sustainable development of Somalia. So we believe that the rehabilitation of the production value chains, the creation of a good environment for investment, the development of a regulatory framework, the supporting the exports, strengthening the capacity of companies and entrepreneurs, supporting the institution. These are all among our objectives. And we believe also that the involvement and the collaboration with the private sector is fundamental for a good, balanced economic development of the country, generally for all the countries. So in this context, Italy has been
We lost Stefano. Stefano, can you hear us?
I will disconnect my video, Francesco, just in case it helped with the bandwidth. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. Okay, we lost Stefano.
Addis, and the internet is a little bit low.
Yeah, he told me he's in Addis Abeba, so the internet is low. So thank you, Stefano. You okay? He's connecting again. Stefano, you can switch off the video if you prefer. Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry. This is the very poor connection. Currently, I'm in Addis Ababa, and in Ethiopia, connection is. Anyway, no. What I was saying in this context, Italy has been financing and supporting UNIDO and the Ministry of Commerce for some years now, and both at federal and member state level. And this again to support the economic development of Somalia. Of course, I would like to mention, as Francesco was saying, the project Agro-technology development for economic growth in South and Central Somalia that is underway now since 2019, of which this initiative is part. And also recently the very important flagship program for productive sectors development, collaboration between UNIDO, FAO, and ILO. We were very particularly pleased with the opening of the enterprise development units in Mogadishu, in Baidoa, in Kismayo, and Beletwayne, with the aim of providing training and support to small and medium enterprises in Somalia. We know that there is plan also to continue, and other centers will follow soon. Also, I think it's important to remark that the project was also very flexible and with good reactivity to adapt to these difficult times of COVID-19 pandemic, and there was some reorientation of activities for contagion prevention. Coming to the event, I think this catalog of business opportunities is very important. And we know that it's collecting many profiles, mainly in the four sectors: agriculture, livestock, fisheries, and construction. But we know that there is also another section with different sectors as energy, trading, etc. It's very welcome, it's very important, especially in the context where it's difficult for companies in Somalia, especially the small ones, to access market and investment. I hope that this initiative will also pave the way for increasing involvement of international financial institutions in Somalia, as well as for foreign private investors. I would like to mention, really in this context, I think is very important, the recent memorandum of understanding between AICS, the Italian Agency for Development Cooperation, which I represent here today, and ICE, which is the Agency for the Promotion Abroad and the Internationalization of the Italian Enterprises. That was a very important recent development. The Memorandum of Understanding has already been signed, and based on the programs of the two agencies and the current guidelines for development cooperation, a plan of action for the next 3 years was already framed. Based on the common interest and the potential priority intervention. So some sectors were already identified for collaboration, such as training and capacity building, agricultural development, restoration, conservation, recovery of the cultural heritage, environmental protection, and energy development and natural resource development. These are not exclusive. I mean, other sectors could be added in the future, but I think it's very important for the future that we try to plan collaboration with our colleagues of ICE, especially with UNIDO, the Ministry of Commerce, etc. The regional office of ICE, based in Addis Ababa, is also responsible for Somalia. And so I hope really we will find a chance of collaboration in the future involving UNIDO, the Somali relevant authorities and partners, as well as interested Italian companies. So finally, really, I wish all of you really good work, and I hope this initiative will be fully successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Stefano. Thank you, Stefano. We really thank your participation now and your also collaboration in our project in agro-technology, because I think it's a really, really good opportunity for Somali companies. And also the aim of the presentation of this catalog is to present the opportunities we have in Somalia, because very often we don't know the huge amount of opportunities we have in this country in terms of SMEs above all. Okay, now I'm really glad to give the floor to the Director General of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry of the Federal Government of Somalia, Mr. Abdiaziz Ibrahim Adan. Mr. Abdiaziz, he knows very well Italy. He came to Rome, if I remember well, in 2019 for the round table we had in Rome. So he knows very well the Italian business community. And now we are glad to have the participation of the ministry in this event, because it's the main counterpart of our project. So, Mr. Abdiaziz, please, you have the floor. You are mute.
Yeah, thank you, Francesco.
Yeah,
thank you very much. You told that I was in Italy, and just we done the same. Well, thank you very much. Excellencies, distinguished partners, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Firstly, it's my pleasure to attend this presentation of Catalogue of Business Opportunities in Somalia. On behalf of the Federal Government of Somalia, Minister of Commerce and Industry, I would like for us to congratulate all UNIDO Somalia and ITPO Italy for their effort, and they put into designing and developing the catalog, which provides an overview of opportunities in Somalia. Furthermore, I would like to thank the Italian government of Somalia, the Italian government of support through Agro-technology project and BSDP to support Somalia private sector. Thank you, our colleagues, ministries, for their participation. Ladies and gentlemen, in recent years, positive momentum has been generated in Somalia. Somalia is back on the international stage, working closely with its partners, encouraging entrepreneurship, promote trade, investment, and review private sector and industrial development. Somalia has a huge potential, as you are all aware, for the fact that it has the second largest coastal in African continent, expanding on 3,333 kilometers located in a strategic Horn Africa, home to Somalia of the richest fishing stocks in the continent, which vast potential stock for all variety of fish and coastal area development. The country has a strong potential for the livestock first, agriculture, fishery, and construction development, for instance. The main crops grown in Somalia are, as you are aware, tomatoes, onions, watermelons, bananas, maize, sesame, sorghum, sugar cane, guava, lemons, dry and fresh grapefruits, mangoes, papayas, and many more others, which have huge potential in food processing for export. With a little investment, especially in processing and supply chain, we believe that Somalia can compete on international stage in exporting of agricultural, livestock, fishery items. In recent years, the country is experiencing boom in the construction sector as the diaspora are returning to invest, but also local business owners realizing the benefits of investing in construction. Country has a young population the country has a young population with a 75% under 10 years, which can be transformed in skilled human capital in every sector. Therefore, this is the right time to talk about the business opportunity in Somalia. And we are confident that country is ready to do business now. As a Ministry of Commerce and Industry, we are ready to facilitate and provide guidance to business looking to invest in Somalia. Thank you. I submit to Francisco. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Abdiaziz. Thank you very much for your speech. Really interesting. So you started with the analysis of the sector. So thank you also for this. We're going to better analyze the different sectors in the technical part of the event later. But thank you very much to anticipate the topics. Now I'm very glad to give the floor to the program coordinator in Mogadishu, officer in charge of UNIDO in Mogadishu, and also is leading the team who practically collected the profiles for the catalogue. So thank you very much. It's Igor Skarcha. So Igor, please, over to you.
Thank you, Francesco, and thank you for organizing this event today that has been able to pull together also colleagues from, of course, essentially the Minister from the Minister of Commerce and Industry. Abdulaziz, thank you for being here. Thank you for opening this morning session, and of course, thank you to our donor, presented by Stefano Stirp, the Italian cooperation. But as I mentioned, this event is being able to pull together also other partners that are working with the program, in particular the Chamber of Commerce, which is hosting the network of enterprise development units that are basically the business service development providers that the program of UNIDO has been able to support, to establish, and now is supporting to grow and expand also in terms of reach. But most importantly, also other partners in the government, likewise with the Minister of Fishery and Marine Resources, Abdullahi Yado, which has been a dear friend of UNIDO, even though we don't have direct cooperation with the Minister of Fishery as such, but we have been working very closely in every time there was an opportunity to strengthen possible area of cooperation, particularly like this one, where we identify area of promotion that could be identified to the support of the UNIDO program is provided to the Ministry of Commerce. And then, of course, the Minister of Agriculture as well, with Mr. Mohammed Mahmoud, that we know also have been supporting the collaboration with UNIDO, FAO, in the area of agricultural development, and the jumping the loop of supporting the processing of agricultural processes, which is basically what at the end of the day UNIDO is trying to promote more systematically in Somalia. Somalia is a country that over the past 30 years has been living a lot of uncertainty, that has finally started to look forward to a process of stabilization and finally development that is taking shape quite rapidly, I would say, over the past few years. I was away for a period of the COVID pandemic out of Mogadishu, and actually came back yesterday after a few months, and I have to admit, even just looking at the level of construction and development up and around the airport was quite remarkable. I haven't been yet in town, but I'm sure that similarly, the level of dynamism and development might also happen there. And if that the construction is an indicator of development in the country, and I see also the Minister of Livestock can join us. Apologies, Mustafa, I didn't recognize your presence. If the indicator of construction is an indicator of how the country is changing, and also change overall the profile of the economic activity, definitely something is moving also in the area of other productive activity. Fishery, livestock, and agriculture being at the top of the list because of the traditional area of economic growth for Somalia, but not necessarily only limiting ourselves to that. The additional value that UNIDO is trying to bring with the Agro-technology program is and this catalog is testimony of that, is to how to add technological change that could eventually support the transformation of processes, therefore adding that necessary economic value to the raw material that is identified in the overall economic activity in the country. So to therefore add value, have more capital available to generating more domestic investment, eventually creating jobs and widespread economic opportunities. Our objective is not necessarily to promote foreign direct investment. Actually here, most of the projects that you will see in the catalog are talking about looking for technology sourcing or opportunity to provide to Somali companies the necessary technology to improve their business operations. That is basically the core that we are looking at, and is a much more simpler activity, to be honest, if identified with this paradigm from the very beginning. And I'm sure, considering the experience that also the project has been able to collect over the past year and a half in matchmaking, thanks to the support of the ITP office in Rome, which efforts are led by Francesco in this particular case for Somalia, to support the business matchmaking among European, Italian companies in particular, and Somali SMEs, has allowed also to identify technology sourcing that has been quite interesting in the agro-mechanization sector, in the fishery and the cold chain overall interventions, or in other specific area that maybe colleagues later on will be able to define even more into the details. I will stop here. I'm always available for additional questions eventually during the panel this morning, but also for directing discussion to understand more about the dynamics of the business sector and the overall SME activity in Somalia. But Francesco as well is our man to Panama in a way, or man to La Habana, obviously, that manage the operations from Rome in terms of engagement with the private sector outside Somalia. Thank you very much, and thank you for organizing this event again.
Yeah, thank you, Igor. Thank you, indeed. I'm here in Rome, so I can be the man in La Habana, the man in Rome in this case.
No, La Habana, exactly.
to follow up on that. It's really true. Most of companies, as you told before, are looking for technology, also market access or investments. But we will analyze later all the profiles. Now we pass to the technical session, technical part of the event. And I'm glad to give the floor to Professor Isse from the Chamber of Commerce, the Deputy Director. Is going to, firstly, is going to present the delegation from the Ministries of Somalia, but also he will speak about the advantages in establishing a partnership with the Somali SME. As you can understand, which is the opportunity for you to establish a kind of partner. It's not important if a joint venture, a technology partnership, a commercial one, but it's important to know the business community in Somalia and to evaluate your involvement in that. Professor, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ballocca. I really would like to thank you for your organization of this meeting. I would like also to thank for the Italian government, Mr. Strepic, which is the funding agency actually representing here into Somalia. And I remember that AICS once upon a time was called FAI, Fondo Aiuto Italiano. Whatever name it comes through, we are really, really very grateful, and we're very much appreciating the collaborations and the assistance that we're getting from the Italian government. I would like also to thank the UNIDO, which is actually intermediating the projects and the programs that have been financed by the AICS, which is really very much something tangible, proud, to be honest with you personally, and working with all the teams of UNIDO, starting from Scarcha all the way down to Najma, which is a very new one, a person that is being collaborating with us. And the points that has been touched by the STRIP, which is the Chamber of Commerce and the private sectors, which are very much again proud of that. We are actually the central force, if you like, for mainly this progress, because one is the private point of view, which is the private side. The other one is the actual program, which is the enterprise development, which are very much grateful to that. We are also very much grateful and would like to say hello and thank you for the Somali government, mainly Mr. Abdi Aziz, which is the Minister of Commerce and Industry, which is really very much helping in terms of the government supports and unconditional, to be honest with you. We are also looking for the Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Fishery in the very future to work with them in this voyage, if you like. We also would like to thank the ITPO, which is actually intermediate as well to this connecting to us to the Italian business community, that we are really very much grateful to that as well. And once that, I would like to go to my presentation, in which I would like to start with talking for the SMEs in Somalia and how and why it's very important for us to be part of the international, the globalization, if you like, to take part of the positive side of that. And more specifically, I would like to just shed a light on the history, roots, issues, breakthrough of the strong points of this the SMEs. And I would like also to make a very brief of the national point of view that already has been touched by Abdul Aziz, that I would maybe jumping over that. And finally, I would like to see the internationalization benefit of the partnering up with the international companies. The Somalia has already been seen. I will just stop saying that we are in a very much a strategic location, which is global trading importance, specifically to African and Asian, which is the future big resources and the businesses. We have, as Mr. Abdisi said, the untapped reserves of natural resources. I don't want to go through that. We are very much familiar with that. The actual industry that we're looking for is very much from agriculture all the way to, I would say, security and technology, unempedwayne, education, health, service, and production manufacturing in point of view. Are you with me?
Yeah, please.
Thank you very much. All of these factors actually, along with the fact that the peace and stability in Somalia is actually raising up in the country, points to a very much appealing for a profitable peace in invest in a huge market of consumers are opening up, and many producers of goods and services are coming into existence right now. If we just have a look have a very good picture to the history, as I said, during the period of stateless in Somalia, the business community, especially the SMEs, have been surviving in a very much informal economics that actually is the hurdle that we're looking for to jump over, and then to make maybe a very much formal for us then to be able to look the future that we're looking for to the internationalization-based businesses. These informalities of the sectors grew in in means of companies at the natural disadvantaged places, and in fact we did get advantage rather of the resilience that we did. And in fact, the EDU is what is making it is to make the business, the SMEs mainly in Somalia, to make it a very formal through the training that we do that have been helped by the UNIDO and the AICS, which is actually a very ballast, the central ballast, you could say, that is formalizing this a big opportunities for Somalia to make it a formal economy. You could touch and say about the government side that have been building up the monetary policy from the central bank, which is actually making the capacity building of that, and then making all is possible through a project called SMP, I think. and the Minister of Finance also making what it needs to be international, taking part of the game, which is the fiscal policies, which are very much proud of that. And if you look at the National Development Plan, the 9th Series 1, is actually trying to create an stability, inclusive politics system in Somalia, which we're very much proud of that. And the main thing and the central one that could, talking about the internationalization for the SMEs, is actually a rule of law, putting in practice the governance and accelerating economic and social development. All of this, if you see that the aim and the ending objectives of that, you could say that is the economic growth for the Somalia that is very much needed. It is not without any constraints, but I see that any constraint could be an opportunity. But I would rather like to summarize here in the GDP, which is actually increasing, the Somali government, how actually is trying building the primary security and administrations, the taxation that we are trying to collect for the government, which is very much now being able to pay the bills. And it is a endless list, if you like, but I would rather jump on the opportunities that we could see when it comes to these sectors of the traditional, what I call the traditional productive sectors, which are agriculture, livestock, and fisheries, which is very much the backbone of Somali revenue, if you go back to the history of the statehood of Somalia. And coupling with this, the entrepreneurship that we're doing with the Chamber of Commerce, I believe that, we are going to formalize these SMEs and then make them ready to adventure in this globalized and taking that the positive side of the globalization. And if you see that SMEs that have been recently received government support are really ready for the internationalization, and is mutually benefiting that. The internationalization or the globalization, if you see, start from you could say the export, making an alliance with in other beyond the bales, if you like, and seeing the opportunities and exchanging the technology and the knowledge that base today their businesses. So this large globalization opportunities that we're looking for is another way to look for the cooperating, an approach to cooperate that and looking for the value chains of all that. One of the advantages that Somalia has once we did that is actually has been already touched the diaspora, that actually breaking the language barriers, the telecommunication, the transportation, and the culture as well for the business that needs very much of that, which is a very much basis, if you like, the informality to formality that has been actually established from the diaspora, making an input to Somalia. So we're looking for to be a competitive, being helped by the government in terms of legislation and supporting that way an international community like the UNIDO and the agencies which are actually donating the training, which is actually giving us that competitive advantage. And we are looking forward to that in terms of opportunity of looking for the revenue and the knowledge exchange of that. But we are trying now the prerequisite to maintaining and then coming up to level up and taking part of these scales and technology ladders, if you like. What we're looking for to many embedments that are already have been seen, that is something real and something that is palpable, if you like, that we're seeing that. But with this will and the determination that we see from the different parts that have been involved, I believe we are actually taking advantage and being competitive and very much responsive to the changes that are happening. Not to mention that Somalia is now looking for to be part of the WTO, which I am a part of the committee of the trade the trade committee of the international WTO accession part of that, which is the chamber is very much a part of it. Yes, we have some internal challenges and creating powers, if you like, but it's something that we are working on it. What we're looking for is the partnership, and the advantage that we have is actually, again, unlimited. And if you look a very good example that you could take part among the other things, that the Chamber of Commerce actually trying to catalyze and playing as a catalyst to make a very good partnering with the Finnish partnership that we have already succeeding and doing that. So we have already got some sort of experience, and we're looking for the Italians to be like that path, to be taking part of this partnership with our SMEs. And I would like to end my little speech to that position. Back to floor to Mr. Baloga. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor. Your collaboration is very, very precious for our project, the collaboration with the Southern Chamber of Commerce. I mean, the EDU also, they work very close with you, with your institution. So for us, it's really important to collaborate with you. Now, I'm going to give the floor to the Mr. Abdullahi Addo, Director of Planning, Policy and Economic Development from the Federal Government of Somalia, Ministry of Fisheries. So he will deliver a presentation about the opportunities in the fishery sector. Mr. Addo, please, you have the floor.
Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning. Thank you, Mr. Francesco, for inviting me to speak here. And I appreciate for your coordination and arrangements about this important meeting about the opportunities of fisheries, business opportunities in Somalia. And I also applaud the Mr. Ise and also the Director General of the Ministry of Commerce, Mr. Abdelaziz, who are now doing efforts on this sector so far. And before I go ahead with my presentation, I would also like to thank Ms. Igor, who has also been a partner to us about the sector development. Although we have not direct relationship with him, but through other UN agencies, we are quite comfortable about the zone that we are doing together. Actually, I believe what the Professor Isa said, and in my principle, I believe, and we believe, all of us as a ministry, that the governments cannot do more job creation and business development on the ground, but instead the chambers of commerce can lead that effort to every country. And if I start my presentation,
yeah, you can share the screen, Mr. Addo. Yeah, of course.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next slide, please.
Next slide, yeah.
This is just overview. This is the outline of the presentation that I would like to share with you. Although I have only 5 minutes, I will talk about a little bit on the overview of the Somali fishery sector, the success that we have been made so far recently. The fishing communities, there is a price gap across the globe, and also the Horn of African nations, and also Somalia. The data collections that we have doing for the last 2 years, the opportunities and also the challenges. Please go ahead. As you know, with the longest coastline in continental Africa, a large EAZ, and also productive marine ecosystem, the marine fisheries and the blue economy in Somalia, can play an essential role in the rebuilding and the stabilization of the country. And there is a strong potential to harness revenues from the industrial offshore fishing and develop coastal fisheries activities for food security, domestic and international trade, including export, job creation, and also overall economic growth. And as you know, having a coastline gives us more opportunities to harness and to advantage and benefit from the ocean and also the fisheries. And one of the most important points here is that the artisanal fishermen are doing a good job these days, and there are new markets that have been added into the market. For example, Ethiopia and also Congo, which has been now one of the key new markets to Somalia. Please go ahead to the second slide. This is the general focus, and a little bit overview of the sector. This is the whole overview of the sector. We all know that we have the longest coastline. We all know the exclusive economic zone, the EAZ, is 116,500 kilometers square. And on the other hand, Somali waters are home to some of the richest fishing grounds in the world, with very potential of fishes and coastal area development. And when I'm talking about that, Somalia has at least 2 upwelling in the northern and southern, where the fish can get more food and also can stay longer. And that's why Somalia has the longest season for tuna and tuna-like species. And the total economic value of domestic fishes right now is in between 135 million to 150 million per year. And the current fishes people who are directly and indirectly working are in between 60,000 and 90,000 fishing people. And what I'm saying that it could be traders, processors, and these people who are working in manufacturers. Please, second slide. And you know, we cannot do any development without having the proper mechanisms, policies, and laws in place. And the first time that the fisheries came out to the sector as a ministry was when the Somalia joined the Indian Ocean Commission back in 2014. And that was, you know, one of the engagements that we do as international community in shared management of tuna and tuna-like species. And in 2020, due to the demand from the private fishing companies, we have realized that we need to have some kind of quality assurance policy that could give us the ability to inspect their fish. Therefore, we can give them the proper mechanism that they need to be exported their fish. And we have finalized Somalia's fisheries inspection and quality assurance. And in that year, we have also amended the Somalia's fisheries law, and also we have finalized the national fisheries policy, which will guide the fisheries sector for the next 10 years. And there was also, in order to avoid IUU and illegal fishing in Somalia, we have did some sort of legalizing what we know as a tuna, which is migratory, and it's also shared resources between the whole Indian Ocean nations. We started to issue license, and these licenses were issued in line with the National Security Council, where the fisheries state presidents and also the president of Somalia came together an agreement on February 2018 for the exclusive exploitation of tuna and tuna-like species. And we also understood that the exclusive economic zone fisheries could be a starting point for the Somalia's economic development. Next slide. Next slide. I've also mentioned this one. Next slide. I would like to talk about the next one more. I would like to mention it here about the price gap that we have in the Somalia. You know, one of the biggest fisheries, tuna fishes that we receive from our waters, Somali waters, is like, for example, swordfish, yellowfin tuna, and spiny lobster. And for example, we are doing some kind of compare on how price is in Somalia and also outside Somalia. And when you are in Somalia, the swordfish is about 1.40 cents per kg. And when you go to the total, to the global, for example, even Kenya, you will see that one kg of swordfish is between 5.65 to 6.5 per kg. And when you go to the next, which is yellowfin tuna, which is also expensive in most of the worlds. In Somalia, it's in between $6 to $2, but in global, it's between $230 to $260. But right now, due to the expensiveness, it's in between $3 to $4. The lobster that is well known in Somalia, right now in Mogadishu and Bosaso, which are the biggest markets, are 16.57 cents per kg. And in global, for example, in Dubai or Oman, it's in between $45 to $78 per kg, which is almost, how different it is. And this price gap gives us the opportunity to tell our partners and also our Somali businessmen to think about investing in this sector could be their, a golden opportunity and also a diamond opportunity for their life and for their business. second, please. Before 5 years, the biggest challenge to the fishery sector was, the cold chain. But now, in recent years, there is at least 2 big cold chains in every 5 cities of Somalia. For example, in Mogadishu, which is the biggest fishing hub in Somalia right now, we have almost 9 cold chains that can, that can be stored up to 40 to 50 tons of fish, and their capacity is 40 minus 40 cold chain, and which also gives us a little bit development on that. In Bosaso, we have also the same Kismayo, Perbera, and also the Hobyo, which has got the first cold chains in 2 years ago. But there is still challenge and constraints, which is for the cold chain, because of the electricity and the infrastructure and efficiency, insufficient maintenance and training, which could be the things that we need to be addressed before big investments come. But in close coordination with the state ministers, we are trying to put our focus for having a solar panel. Go ahead, please. Next slide. This is the fisheries data collection. Back to slide, please. The data collection, which is very important. We have done 6 locations in Somalia, where 3 nominated trained each location, and 31,923 fish identified and counted. Almost 1,000 vessels surveyed, and 120 days surveyed between December 10, 2019, and also 2020. That data gives us more information to our investors and also our people to get more information about the fishery sector on the ground. And in further information, we will be very happy and comfortable to share with you the analysis that we have done. Therefore, you could understand each city, which city, and also where the fish are the most captured in Somalia or caught. So that data gives us more information and more confidence to tell the investors how this sector is important for them. Next slide. This is the pelagic industry. I don't want to talk more, but the pelagic industry is untapped in Somalia. The Somali people don't eat the pelagic fish species, but actually it is untapped, and it could be one of the key areas that the investors and also other Somali businessmen can start to be generated. And this pelagic fish industry could be also a diamond opportunity for all of us, and it's not yet started. If you ever had the fish oil or fish meal, this is where you can start it. Next slide, please. This is just an example for the data that we have done for the last year, 2020. And I don't want to talk much since my time is almost over, but you can see how every location, like, Bosaso is better than the other location, but Mogadishu is better than these locations. And we did how, when you are talking about yellowfin tuna, which city and which place are the most. And when we are talking about the narrow part, which one is the best? When I talk about long-tail tuna, which one is the best? This data is available from the ministry. And for further engagement, we will be also ready to discuss anyone who is willing to have more information about from the ministry. Please, next slide. Next slide. It's already been talked. This is the results of the weight of and also the frequency of the tuna, which is particularly the skipjack tuna and also the yellowfin tuna, and also the locations that they have been caught. Next slide. I've already told the opportunities, but the most important point that I would like to mention here now is that the strategic location to the markets, and as I have already mentioned, the Ethiopia market is open for Somali's business people. We are providing anything that they want from the ministry, along in close coordination with the Ministry of Commerce, and we are hoping to travel to Kenya next month for also a new kind of engagement of fish and you know this kind of trading partners and routes in Kenya and also the Ethiopia are very critical important to Somalia, and that's why we are in a strategic location. And also the current market that we have in Somalia is the Middle East. Next slide. These are still the challenges that I have to mention here. The jets and also the lack of insufficient ports, and also the ice facilities that I've already told, that lack of the proper electricity is still there, and also having international markets are still there. But I don't want to talk more about it. But actually, these are still the challenges of the sector. Go ahead, please, and thank you for your time. And I would like to thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Rado. Thank you. Very interesting presentation. Very, very interesting. You mentioned a lot of topics present in the catalog. We have a good section of fishery in the catalog. I mean, probably 10, 12 profiles. So I will explain later. But fishery, obviously, is one of the main promising sector in your country. So it's really, really interesting for Italian companies in terms of importation, but also in terms of cold chain, because here in Italy we have a lot of companies producing cold chain solutions and also off-grid solutions to provide energy to cold rooms. So it's very, very important for countries like Somalia. Thank you very much, Mr. Addo. Now I give the floor to Mr. Adan from the Ministry of Livestock, Forestry and Range, is Acting Director of Planning and Policy. Mr. Adan, please, you have the floor. I asked to the speakers to switch on the camera if you don't have connection problem, because also for communication reasons, we are able to have a screenshot for the social network and so on. So if you can switch on the camera, and Mr. Mustafa Adan, you have the floor, please.
Good morning. My name is Mustafa Ibrahim Adan from Ministry of Livestock, Forestry and Range, Federal Government of Somalia. I'm Acting Director of Planning and Policy. I'm very happy to participate this important meeting here. I'm very happy to present livestock opportunities, investment opportunities here. I would like to thank for the Ministry of Commerce and the UNIDO for allowing me or our ministry to participate this platform. And I'm here today to present a presentation about livestock sector. Thank you. If you display the presentation, I will thank you.
We're going to we're going to present your presentation.
Yes, thank you. The next this is the okay. Thank you, my friends. I wanted to present here for the historical background of the livestock. Somalia has been traditionally pastoral society with a livestock rearing part and partial of the economy. Somali's terrain consists of mainly plateaus of plain, high lineage with the year-round hot climate and sporadic rainfall. This has resulted in the arid lands where livestock became a vital source of livelihood. Livestock production has been the backbone of the Somali economy for many centuries. It is important source of food and income for the predominantly rural population. Livestock provides a source of income as well as food in forms of meat and other animal products like milk, which is integral part of the food security. The pastoral communities get their calories from milk and meat consumption, and also support the families through sales of livestock of the animals for their cereals and non-cereals foodstuffs. Several reports estimate that several reports estimate that 26% of Somali population is classified as nomadies. For the livestock subsector is sole source of livelihood. The country has the following livestock: raided sheep and goat, camel, cattle, as well as permanent animal. Wild poultry is also reported to be raided in small numbers. This is the background of the Somalia. The next slide. Yes, I want to talk here for the dairy. Regarding the subsector of the stated value chain, the production is marketing of this important beverage has been traditional livelihood source of the predominantly agro-pastoral society. It provides employment and income for the large segment of the population, and particularly to the women folks, which provides them economic empowerment. The maximum production comes from the camels and then cows. Camels are sturdy animal, can survive to produce milk even infants at a condition where when there is when shortage of fodder. That is why the camel milk has been preferred during the year compared to the one produced by the other animals. Despite this scenario, dairy sector remains underdeveloped and with a high potential exploit. In fact, Somali is the net importer of yogurt and cheese. The reason I think this statement is wrong here. The reason for that can be attributed to this trend in lack of the processing facilities of the milk and very weak cold chain and transportation networks that leads to huge quality. Attribute this trend is in lack of the processing facilities of milk and a very weak cold chain and transportation network that leads to huge spoilage. This is big opportunity for international companies to involve dairy equipment, interested and in partnership with the local small-scale milk processing firms that currently produce butter, cheese, and yogurt. Okay, next slide. Also, meat is the main I think main source of the main source of the investment needed here. As far as meat subsector concerned, domestic meat production is skewed towards the local market need, which preferred fresh meat, not chilled frozen. It's implemented through small slaughterhouses, either operated by the private players for the local authority, and are mostly under hygienic. Consequently, international companies that provide meat processing plants could have huge opportunities in the country. In terms of the quantity, the maximum meat production comes from the cattle or beef, followed by the camels. Even in combination of goat, sheep, and goat, meat could be the higher. There is a gradual increase in the chicken and consumption due to the large-scale imports. Consequently, commercial poultry farming is on the rise, particularly in urban areas. Next slide. This is examples of the projects, and the projects the companies are prepared for this. This example of this project description here, and the type of the partnership, date of establishment, strength in this. I took these examples, the companies or the projects that the investment, the international investors or the local investors can benefit for this, like these projects. Next. Even though this, I think I took this as examples of the source of opportunities that all the companies can benefit it. I want to pass all these projects here. This only the project code sector of the sector that the companies can benefit it here. The project description. This I took this for an example here. Go on. Okay, gone. Okay, gone. Yes. Okay. Animal export opportunities. Somalia major livestock exporters are sheep, goat, accounting this year in 2010 and 2006. There is a huge export in Somalia, and the business entities get cash, the largest cash in the export, and even the government gets the taxes, the huge taxes in that period for the animal exporting in the Middle East, like Saudi Arabia in Hajj season, and even the OIE, Emirates, and Oman, all the Middle East countries. In even this economic contributed to the GDP approximately or estimated amount of the 60%, 60.7% of the GDP, and also 70% in export. And despite being considerable livestock producers, Somalia still has a huge potential, attract investment on the production and supply fresh milk in many major cities, and very little domestic processing capabilities, including canning, packaging, and branding. This is export opportunities in the country. Go next. Yes, livestock population in Somalia, 2015, there is estimation that says the 40 million in Somalia, 14 sheep, and 13 million of goats, and 7 million of camels, and 5 million of the cattle. And there is an estimated from government that the population of livestock is, I think, estimated to 50 million. Reliable of the number aside, the majority of the livestock continue to be headed by and managed by the pastoral households, and broadly under the traditional production. This is I think this is the animal population in Somalia. Next. Yes, this is the investment opportunity in Somalia. Here you can get the areas that is needed to invest here. This is more milk processing is an opportunity for the investors. Also poultry farms, also dairy farms, compound of the feed processing plants for poultry, beef, dairy, meat processing plants, technical consulting and supporting services for livestock, investment diagnostic, vaccinate, treats livestock, investment in advisory services to the livestock owners about animal feeding, behaviors, and breeding, investment in leather processing and manufacturing of the leather, also investing with producing for the local consumption for animal, for meat and milk, and also butter. This is the main opportunities, source of opportunities. Thank you. Next. Yes, the Ministry of Livestock, Forest and Range is responsible for all of the livestock issues in the strategies or laws and all of that. For that, Ministry prepared laws, policies, strategies, procedures of the livestock investment opportunities. This contributes for the livestock investment. The veterinary law or veterinary code, the biggest law in the Ministry of Livestock prepared, and this law is this act comes from this law. This law is validated and passed the last stage and signed the President 2016. Yes, and there is acts like Meat Act, I think is the last stage, Quarantine Act, Dairy Act, Livestock Development Sector Strategies. Strategy is a 5-year strategy. Ministry of the Livestock and supported to the World Bank and FAO this strategy is continue and it's period for the 5 years here. Animal health strategy, also national antimicrobial resistance plan, which prepared for the Ministry of Health and Ministry of Agriculture is, I think, is under the endorsement. I think it's the last stage here. This is the, okay, thank you. The next. Yes, the veterinary law, I took this for the minister for the veterinary court for animal exploitation here, and the requirement is of the businessman to do for like this, take this into account. The minister is in charge of veterinary services shall have authority in the law in the whole country for regulating and exportation and importation of the animal and animal products in the processing implement the required animal health measures and international veterinary certification procedures. The cooperation between government and institutions, Ministry of Livestock, Forest and Range, in agreement with the ministry related by the export animal and animal products like Ministry of Port and Marine, Ministry of Civil Aviation, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and Ministry of National Security in order to implement veterinary. This comes from the veterinary law code. Prohibition of export animal and animal products. It is prohibited to slaughter the female animals in period over the semen hijack eggs and food and wild animals for specific for ecosystem or in danger extinction. Required of the imported countries, ministry shall comply the requirements of the import countries and with the implementation with the international standard. Next. This is, I think, thank you for your patience and for your giving me your attention and everything.
Thank you, Mr. Mustaf. Thank you very much.
My presentation is yes. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much for your presentation. Dairy sector is one of the main sectors we analyzed during last months. Organized a specific event in March on dairy, and the Italian companies proposed some solutions for the Somali ones regarding dairy. So I think also the livestock sector and the subsectors like dairy should be very, very interesting for the Italian business community. Now, last but not least, I'm really glad to give the floor to Mr. Mohamed Mahmoud, Technical Advisor from the Ministry of Agriculture and Irrigation, for his presentation. Mr. Mohamed, please, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Really, we just see great people listening all over from Italy, from Somalia, anywhere, and especially we just give a special salutation and grantee, say good day, good morning, buongiorno. Then after that, really, I'll just welcome to the Italian community, business and government and other, because we miss one another. We miss them and they miss us for a longer time. We are closer in other nations. They know our attitude. We know their attitude. If they come with project, I'm sure they will not come pilot project. They know what, attitude and what feeling and what, there in Somalia. And we know when we meet the Italian businessmen and group, how they feel us and how we feel them. Thank you. We get back again all together, and I hope we'll not miss again one another. That will, continue the opportunity. The topic I'm presenting here is the general agriculture in Somalia. I just apologize because I get there shortly one day before that I have a lecture in this, presentation. Then that way I'll not get, a longer time to have a good research and collective. But at least I just get something. I just get here and there and put together to just share with you. Thank you. So first of all, I want to just correct for my friends and countrymen. For the commercial, the director of the Ministry of Commerce is Somalia has the second largest. This was a longer history when Namibia and South Africa were together, that we have the second. But after Namibia get its independence from South Africa, we become the largest coast in Somalia. Secondly, I correct my Abdullah, the fisherman, he used that the Somali coast is 3,300. That we lost 33 kilometers, 0.33. So please, you have to correct it. You have to correct it because people will take the data we presented. So if we cut under our the cost length, then that data will take by everybody, and then we miss longer cost. And even that, because maybe this data you get somewhere, but it is the way now that petroleum well is now there's under the Kenya is claiming it's in that area. So if we cut from the cost, then you give the land to somebody. So please.
Yeah, so Mr. Mohamed, are you planning to deliver the presentation? The PPT?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we are going to share the because we are a bit late, so I can't.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go. Somalia is a country in the Horn of Africa. Yeah, please let us see. Yeah, Somalia is the country in the Horn of Africa that covers an area of 637,540 kilometers square. It has the longest coastline on Africa continent, 333 kilometers. And its terrain consists of mainly plateaus, plains, and highlands. Please, next slide. The climate in Somalia is arid and semi-arid. The bimodal rainfall pattern has 2 rainy seasons. The good April up to May, up to June, and dire October up to December. And we have 2 dry seasons. The Haga, July up to September, and the Jilal, January up to March. Please, next. The population relies on the longer good rains and shorter dire, but dire rains for agriculture and production, faster and along the rain-fed areas. Most of agriculture crops rely on irrigated and from the rivers. Next. However, there has been a general decline in the longer rains, experiencing the frequency of droughts and floods. Historically, trends show that moderate droughts occur at an interval of 3 to 4 years, and heavy droughts used to occur 8 to 10 years. Now, the droughts are occurring frequently and floods because the river become shallow, filled with sand, not desilted for last 30 years. Therefore, it needed the river to be desilted and embanked, because as the banks of the river become so short and it was wilted, and then need to raise up to keep the water. Food security. There are 3 issues that affecting domestic policy options are population growth, climate change, and food security. Next. Agriculture covers or divided into the following: crops production, livestock, fishing, hunting, mining, quarry, and forestry. These all agriculture. But we are only benefiting crops, livestock, and fishery. Although we just did the forestry, we just banned it and sold it. So we are getting in a problem for the future people. Okay, the food security situation in Somalia is highly dependent on performance of the productive sectors, crops, livestock, and fishery. The agriculture sector is the second in the importance after the livestock sector. Please next. Somalia has an estimated 8.1 million hectares, very fertile land. Does not mean that only that 8.1 million hectares is where we grow, but it's the places where they produce surplus. All other Somalia, wherever you go, they can grow, but it's not like the other regions which has potential of rains and irrigations and others. Okay, now one could say that 1 million hectare is not under cultivation. 1 million hectare is not under cultivation, because the reason being the great number of rural farmers become IDPs. They move it from the rural area to the towns. So the 8.1 million, the fertile land we claim, we are not now cultivating even 1 million hectare. Okay, if we look back in 1989, the cultivated area was known. And the problem I say now, even we don't know land cultivated. We don't know how many harvested yearly. We cannot claim that we get that number of, metric tons, and we need that. So the quantity of food required was known. The population was known. The Somali population was 8.3 million. The food required was 900,000 metric tons, and the food produced was 700,000 metric tons. And we have the deficit of 200,000 metric tons that was filled by food aid and commercial. Now, Minister of Agriculture needs to know, with the assistance of your support, both area and yield, agricultural infrastructure, the hard parties and soft parties were either looted or destroyed. Now, Minister of Agriculture is starting blank space. And all investment we have longer time, nothing remaining, looted, finished. So ministry, no tractors, no others, canals are not rehabilitated, rivers are not desilted, all, starting, from zero almost. And without your support of research and extension could reactivate the food security of Somalia could not be managed. Because we don't, for example, when research and extension and other activity, we used to have high yield seed. There's not high yield seed, there's no other problems. So still analysts this solve it, we don't have system to overcome our food problem. Food security, and okay, manage it. The cadres trained in the past become older. It's a good example of me. You can see my photo, I think. That's, I may be the youngest of the group is trained in 80s. Okay, become old, died, and or change the profession. Therefore, the ministry needs the full support for your support and capacity building, especially higher degrees. We have a batch from the country, from other countries, they are coming in everywhere. But we need now specialists to lead the country, because agriculture, we need the agronomist, we need the pathologist, we need the entomologist, irrigation, all other, horticulturist. The other, fields need, to just take part of the production. They are not in handy. And within the coming 5 years strategy plan, this is now, for example, there is a problem, you know, we say that security in the field. I'm sure that will not exist in this now period. We have this project in Somalia. So we requested that this, you know, training to be added, especially higher degree in different fields, you know, different fields. So if, for example, the bees restored, we have already people who run the activity, and this is the, you know, the small I could share. As I said, you know, I have short time to prepare. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. And all coaches raised, I will answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mohamed. Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. You mentioned food security, agriculture. I mean, agricultural machinery is also in Italy. We are leader in the production of agricultural machinery. So I think also in these topics we will collaborate very well in the future. So now I'm going to present the catalog. In the meantime, if you have questions regarding the catalog, but also regarding the presentation, you can put your questions in the chat, in the question and answer session. I already see the question from Mr. Dago, Mr. Charles Dago. I'm going to read later. Now, but if while I present the catalog, you can post the questions in the box. Now I'm going to share my screen. I hope you are viewing my screen. So this is the catalog. First of all, thank you to the institution that allowed the drafting of this catalog. Somali Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Italian Agency for Development and Cooperation, as we told before, and also the local team of UNIDO in Somalia, who collected all the profiles, all the profiles in the field. Obviously, behind each profile, there is a company, there is an SME in a small and medium company in Somalia interested in doing business with an international counterpart. And obviously, the UNIDO Somalia network is part of this work. Now I'm going to introduce the table of content. The catalog is divided in 4 main sections. I mean 5 if we consider also the last section other. But you can easily reconduct each section with a specific color, as you can recognize, for instance, agriculture with green, fishery blue, building gray, and livestock yellow. And we also have a last section. Let's say we named other sectors to mention energy, trade, and other sectors which are not part of the first 4 sections. So you can choose the section you prefer. For instance, we start from agriculture. Here we have a description of the project. So the framework of the project in which we are operating. So the project Agro-technology development for South and Central Somalia, and also a brief map of the EDUs. So just to understand which are the locations in which we are operating. So Kismayo in the south, Mogadishu in the coastline. So here you can see that, for instance, Fishery, the project in Fishery are mainly located in these 2 locations, so Mogadishu and Kismayo. And in the inland territory, you can find Baidoa and Beletwayne. Okay, let's start from agriculture. Agriculture, we have a brief introduction of the sector. It's like an introduction to present an overview of the sector in the country, and then we go to the projects. The project is the structure of the project is like that. We have a project code just to identify the company. So if you are interested in this company, in this project, for instance, it's enough that you write me an email saying I'm interested in SOM 001-2106, which is the project code, and I can reconnect the project to the company. So for privacy reasons, we didn't put the name of the company in the catalog, but you can just express the code, and then we can put you in touch with the company. Then there is a project description. So in a brief, in some lines, in 3-4 lines, just to present to you which is the request. So in this case, the company deals with agricultural products. It exports dry lemons to Dubai and Iran, and fresh mango and banana to Kenya, where there is high demand. So it's just to present which is the framework we are dealing with, and then the type of partnerships they are requiring. So in this case, joint venture and access to the foreign markets, and also technology transfer. If you see all the profiles, of course, most of companies are looking for technology transfers. As we told before, there is a huge need of technology. So the first request is for technology. Then they are looking for to access foreign markets. So a lot of companies export fishery products, agricultural products, fruit, lemon, and so on. And also joint venture for companies interested in directly invest in the country through a specific investment with a local counterpart. Then we have the date of establishment, just to understand if it's a new company, if it's an old company, which is the length of the operation. So in this case, in 2015, so they opened 6 years ago. The strengths of the company, in this case, excellent in quality of the products, technical and managerial skills. So it's important also this aspect for the Italian company, because you can see which is the strength point of each company. And finally, the classification. So you can find a company with expansion, so who are looking for expansion to enlarge their business, but also diversification. For instance, company producing milk that are looking to diversify the production, then to pass to cheese, butter, and so on. So this is just the first, but you can find a lot of projects. We have 38 profiles, so you can find. I'm sure you can find the project which is suitable for you. Agriculture is the main section. So we have, I think, more than 12 projects in agriculture. Yes, 15, 16, yeah, 17 in agriculture. Then we pass to fishery, which is a very, very important sector, even in this case, the presentation, and also the profiling of each company. In this case, obviously, they're interested in exporting fish because they catch fish in the Indian Ocean, which is a very, very important coast, and they export, for instance, in Middle East, in Dubai, Yemen, Oman, and Saudi Arabia, and so on. But also they are looking for importers in Europe and in other countries. Even in this case, they're looking for technologies in terms of cold chain. For fishery, we have a great amount of projects, maybe around 10. Then we pass to building, construction, and logistic, even in this case, the presentation. And we have, I mean, 5, 6, 7 projects in the building sector. A sector very, very promising, as mentioned Igor, my colleague, before, because in Somalia there is a lot of bridges, roads, and infrastructure to put in place. And then livestock, poultry, and dairy. We discussed before about that. Even in this case, we host in the catalog the companies we presented in the seminar in March, but also other companies from Baidoa, for instance, who was not part in the previous presentation. Even in this case, we have the description. For instance, this one, they is currently supplying high quality, optimum nutritious dairy products, but the firm is planning to expand the production and it's going to use a new dairy product. So in this case, is a diversification expansion project. So this is, in a few words, the catalog. I will send you to all the participants by mail this catalog, as you can read carefully, and you can also pose all the questions you think. You can express the interest for one or on more projects, mentioning the project codes, and I can put you in contact with the local counterparts. And then we finish with the last section, other sectors. In this case, you can find, for instance, trade, oxygen and nitrogen, liquid and gas. So specific sectors which are not part of the main section of the catalog. Renewable energies, obviously. In case of renewable energies, is a transversal sector, because we can find energies also in dairy, in agriculture, so in fishery. If you establish a cold room, you need energy. If you establish a dairy farm, you need energy. So renewable energies is a sector which include all the section of the catalog. And then general trading, because most of companies also are involved in general trading. So this is the catalog. These are in the last page you can find the contacts of UNIDO Somalia, also the contacts of ITPO Italy. I put in the chat my mail address to all my mail address, as you can write me the email if you want, and then I'm going to read the question and answer. Okay, Mr. Chardago. Okay, hello Francesco. Somalia is very important for us in livestock. Also, the food processing is our business core. We need to cooperate with the private public structure. Okay, so Charles, for sure, I will. We can organize a meeting with the Ministry of Livestock in the days to come. So please remember me by email. Please write me an email, and we can organize. Aldo Righi, com'è possibile ottenere il catalogo? It's very, very simple. I will send you the catalog by mail starting from this afternoon or tomorrow. Christian Schingo, good morning. I would like to know how it's possible to have the catalog, how we can get in contact with the agricultural sector in Somalia in order to present our business solution. Even in this case, Mr. Schingo, I will send you the catalog, and please write me an email to organize a meeting, a private meeting with the agriculture sector, probably with the technical advisor, but also with other counterparts if we want. Aldo Righi, the email. Okay, Mr. Polacca, this conference is very interesting. Therefore, I will really send me the email, please, so that I can. Okay, so my mail is in the chat. You can write me, and I will send you the catalog. And okay, so we finished the questions. If you don't have other issues, or also the speakers, if you would like to add anything to the discussion, otherwise we can close. Another questions. Maria Cristina Belgo, noi chiediamo più chiarezza nei bandi di gara, più tempo nelle gare che... Okay, so they ask yes, regarding the tenders. So you mean the tenders in Somalia from the ministries, I suppose, yeah. So I'm going to share this question to the local ministries, the local counterparts. So more time to prepare the tenders and to participate in the tenders. Yeah. So this is a request that I forward to the local ministries now in the event. Thank you very much.
Maybe Francesco, just to help Mrs. Belgo, what if she can be more specific, because there is now, if she is referring to the ministry in Somalia, we can definitely support and provide this feedback to the ministry. But if the public, the audience of this question is somebody else, then if we can please clarify, it would be helpful.
Yeah, so I'm writing the email even here, so you can write me an email, Mrs. Belgo, as we can discuss later about that with more details, obviously. Thank you very much. I don't see other questions. Okay, so if the speaker would like to add anything, otherwise we can close. Okay, nothing to add. You can find the presentations in our website starting from tomorrow, and you can see the webinar in the days to come in the UNIDO ITPO Italy YouTube channel. So I invite you to see our website, also to know about the events. And thank you very much. Thank you very much for this interesting morning together. I also thank all the speakers, all the representatives from the ministries, and the Stefano Stirpe from the. Okay, Stefano, you have a question, please.
Yeah, no, Francesco, no question. Just finally, I want really to thank you and all the colleagues and the participants, because I think it was very important and very interesting. And I hope that this is just a first step, just a start for a fruitful collaboration between Italian companies and Somali companies. I think there are a lot of opportunities, and with the support of the great field work done by UNIDO in Somalia, I think really all these opportunities can be realized. So thank you again, and have a good work for everybody. Yeah,
thank you, Stefano, for your kind words. Obviously, we'll cooperate in the months to come in the implementation of this catalog, and also in private meetings between Italian and Somali companies. Thank you very much, Igor. Can we close, or would you like to add?
No, thank you very much. No, nothing to add, and thank you again for the organizing of this excellent meeting and webinar with the Italian private sector. Hopefully, something good will come out of that, as has happened in the past, and we have been able to successfully celebrate with some companies in Somalia the great partnership that was established with the Italian private sector, even very recently, as I mentioned in the introduction, in the agro-mechanization sector. So we hope that more can come in the future, and we already, the program and the EDU in particular, that are there to stay beyond the UNIDO presence in the country, will be able to support, and we're looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.